trees in the backwoods night. Red lights cutting through the pine in flight. Bigfoot stomping with his youngling beard. Whispers of tales that ain't too clear. UFOs buzzing solo through the haze. Howling banshees set the forest ablaze. Jersey devil howls, drink rays to the sky. Drunken cryptids party until the morning's night. Yeah. It's showtime, running wild in the moonlight. Stars burn down, watch the freaks all take flight.
To good times.
Raise your glasses to the mysteries divine. It's showtime, let the cryptids realign.
Welcome to Dudes from the Internet. Probably wondering what's going on. We've got Alan and Chris from Nevermore Hollows. We've got Matthew from the Drunken Cryptids. We all sat down and we decided that because we hit 500 subscribers, all basically within a week, we needed to celebrate. And that's what this episode's going to do. We're going to celebrate ourselves for our fans for hitting 500 subscribers on YouTube. And we are also announcing that we are launching a brand new podcast that'll be coming out in the very near future called Dudes from the Internet.
Woohoo!
Dudes, how are you guys doing tonight?
Good, man. How are y'all?
Yeah.
Matthew, you
hanging in there, fighting a sore throat. that summer cold.
yeah,
Gotcha.
I think that's going around everywhere right now. So,
Yeah, I know you're dealing with it as well.
yeah. So for the listeners out there, this new podcast venture, you're used to hearing horror, you're used to hearing the paranormal. This is going to be a little different. This is going to be kind of a behind the scenes of who each of us are and our other interests. We may be talking about movies, music, whatever we decide that week. It's going to be a little bit of everything, but it's still going to have our own unique styles that you all have come to love. But first, Alan and I and Matthew, we came to a realization that none of this would be possible without Chris.
Well, look at that.
Because
You know-
Chris,
I apologize. It was
Well,
not
let me-
intentional.
so
Yeah, I want to interject real quick.
okay,
You're right. I remember this a couple years ago, about 2 years ago,
Yeah.
I was listening to Cryptids of the Corn, and I heard an episode about Nevermore Hollows. And I remember listening to them being, you guys being interviewed, Chris and Alan, and I was going, what a great concept. Oh my gosh, I love that idea. And my life took a weird twist, and I wasn't able to follow up with it. And so I ended up being interviewed for Cryptids of Corn, and about that week I got an email in saying, hey, my name is Chris. This is who I am. I love the show. I love your show. Just listen to you on Cryptids of the Corn. Oh my gosh, man, why don't you, get a chance to I was going. So, of course, I text, Justin over there at Cryptids of the Corn. I was going, do you know this Chris guy? And he goes, dude, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. Because what was going on in my life, I was like real secretive of everything. I was like, whoa, who's this? And so we emailed each other a few times and jumped on the phone. And I think our first phone conversation we had, Chris, was almost 2 hours long.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife even came in there and said, who the heck are you talking to?
Dudes from the Internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Dudes from the Internet.
And my connection, also involves Cryptids of Corn because I met these guys at the Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree last October. Chance meeting because I just went there just to enjoy the Bigfoot Jamboree and to act like John Methenkamp. And I see Alan standing there, completely ignore him. I go to Chris thinking, because it actually was Alan's fault, because I said, what's this about? And I'm pointing to a picture of Psycho Juju, and he's like, oh, that you got to talk to Chris. That's his creation. So I'm thinking, okay, he's in charge of Nevermore Hollows. So I go over and start talking to Chris. Well, then I walk away, and I get a hold of Chris on Facebook. I'm like, dude, I've been listening to Nevermore Hollows, and he's like, oh, you need to talk to Alan. So he gets me in touch with Alan. So,
well, after we met you at the Jamboree and you walked off, Alan goes, is that guy for real?
Right.
I'm like, well, yeah, he's pretty cool dude. We talked for a little bit, and he goes, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because I've said this before, I wasn't sure if that was a character or what, because it was such a quick chance meeting and I was trying to help my son when you walked up, because we were also selling comic books at the Jamboree. And I was just thinking, man, I'm going to base a character off of that guy, because if he's real, come to find out, he's already a character.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, so after John reaches out to me and we start talking back and forth, and I think I've told you offline, John, I needed that call that day, or not a call, but when you messengered me, I needed that. I was literally going, is any of this really worth it? Is it any of this? All this effort?
It was rough.
And then out of the blue, he just literally, as I was, asking myself that. But anyway, so that's how John got inserted into the show, and somehow now he's Matthew's got a character in the show. Yeah. John's got like 3 characters in the show. So these guys have just inserted themselves into our world, but it has made our world richer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Both with fiction and real life.
Oh yeah, I mean, I call Matthew a lot, you know, and we just talk crap, and but
now my headset sucks, so it's hard to hear me at work.
Yeah, but now it's hard to hear me at work too. But it's cool because somebody at work said something about Bigfoot, and I went, well, I know a couple guys who go hunting for Bigfoot, and they go,
yeah. I was showing pictures of both John and Matthew's expeditions recently to people at work, and they're like, "You are the coolest guy ever." I went, "No, I know the coolest guys ever."
I wouldn't say what I do is Bigfoot hunting
in a long time.
What's that, John?
I wouldn't say that I actually do the Bigfoot hunting. That's Matthew.
Yeah, but it was cool when I'm
ghost hunting. Matthew does Bigfoot hunting.
Yeah, I'm doing the ghost hunting here soon at the Sally house. Don't tell me nothing about it.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm going into Sally house blind with Chumming the Spirits. I'm going into it blind, and I don't want to, I've been in plenty of paranormal encounters, plenty of ghost stuff, but normally when you go into it, okay, this house, there's an axe murderer in here, and he killed everybody in the closet, and if you listen, it's right there, so I don't want to know anything. I want you to go in and go.
I just want to commend you on your Zach Baggins impression.
Yeah, right.
Did you just touch me?
Right. So to kind of continue with the thanking Brother Chris for all this. So I've known Chris for 30 years, and we've told this on a couple of different shows, but to launch this one, we want everybody to understand why we're thanking Chris at the moment. Is I've known Chris for 30 years, man, and we would meet each other and have an hour, 2 hour long conversation, literally in the parking lot of wherever we were, or on the milk aisle or the pizza aisle of whatever store. And then I wouldn't see him again for right. And then I wouldn't see him again for 2 years. And then I'd meet him, and then we would literally pick up the conversation from where we were before. So in one of those conversations a couple of years ago, I had asked my son, I was like, hey, my son's a great artist. And I was like, man, will you be the art director for the show? And he was like, Dad, I'll help any way I can, but I want to do my own thing. cool, got it. Love you for it. Right? That's awesome. And like 2 days later, I meet Chris in the store. I think it was
Yeah,
Food. Was it Food City?
Yeah.
And we had this epic long conversation about Bigfoot. And during it, he goes, "Hey, dude, what do you got going on?" I said, "Well, I've got this, this show that I'm doing." And he's like, "Cool, what's its name?" I said, "Nevermore Hollows." And I'm terrible at pitching myself. It's literally all I said. Literally all I said.
If there is not a truth that is said today, that's the biggest one right there.
I struggle to promote myself as a podcaster and writer. So fast forward about 2 weeks, and Chris calls me. "Hey, dude, man, let's go get some tacos because we have an amazing taco place here.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's awesome, and it just happens to be called Misfits Tacos, and they're gourmet tacos, dude. They're not like what you think, right?" So he goes, "Let's go get some tacos." So we sit down and we're just shooting the breeze. I noticed he had brought his
the magic bag.
the magic bag,
it
yeah,
has
right.
Everything in it.
And we're sitting there and we're eating our tacos. He goes, "I want to show you something, dude." And he pulls out all these character sketches. He had Granny Dingo. He had all these sketches of all these characters. And I'm like, "Holy, what is this?" He goes, I'm like, "Dude, this is awesome." I said, "What do I owe you for it?" And he goes, "I just want to be part of the show however I can."
Don't owe me nothing.
Right when I was praying for an art director, he walks in the door. So
And I haven't done anything since.
pretty much. so when the guys were reaching out to me this past week and making that observation of how this wouldn't be here if you hadn't have been the guy to kind of reach out for us.
Well, I just want to say none of this holds up in court.
So I'm going to use this moment to show you something. I'm also going to get on you just a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. All right.
Yell at me. Everyone does.
I'm going to share my screen. Window. How do I want to do this? Chrome tab. Right here. All right. So we want to share this with you. Okay. We made up a shirt
Yes.
to do two things. One,
Yes.
to launch this new venture.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But also to thank you. This shirt,
Aw,
I was going to,
jeez.
we were going to present you with this shirt tonight,
Oh.
but you didn't get me your freaking logo that I was asking
I have
for.
one without the background, so I got to make one.
So since your time management skills suck, I couldn't get this shirt here for you. So anyway,
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool.
once you give me your freaking logo, I will get this shirt for you, and I will also get one for each one of us.
That's awesome. Thanks,
All right.
guys. Jeez,
Well,
that's nice.
We love you, brother.
I love y'all too.
And we
So-
do love you. And you've earned that and so much more. I mean, you deserve a lot of credit for everything. And you're the one that brought this together without realizing it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, the cool thing is the one thing I love saying, especially after I listen to all our shows, is I hang out with some weird people. But you guys have enriched my life because now I get to hear all these cool people that I would never hear. And then I got to hear John giggle like a girl. But that was seriously, dude, and that was a fanboy moment, man.
Yeah.
I mean, but I understand why.
Yeah.
But I told Alan, I said, I'm going to give him crap about this.
Good.
I have to.
And I expect that from all of you.
Right.
we are
That's the
brothers.
other thing.
That's
we may not
right.
be from the same mothers. We may have only met in the
Right.
last year or so, but I do consider you guys my brothers.
Amen.
And it's going to be a hell of a party in Ada.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
girl. That's what I'm saying.
Tammy has seen some of our group text. She goes, "Y'all are mean."
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
like, no, these are my friends.
We're not mean.
No,
Not even
this is
close.
just the fun stuff we do.
It's how it's supposed to be. It's like the age of being man and being able to do that with men is. And I'm not talking about that stuff, John. I'm talking about giving each other a hard time and teasing, and just that's how it's supposed to be. It's like I tell everybody, I can give Jacob a hard time all day long, but I won't with nobody else because I'll take it somewhere else.
That's
But
right.
with us,
Yeah.
but with us, it's hilarious. I mean, because y'all blow the phone up, and I'll be at work, and I go, "There's 50 messages for me to go back."
Yeah, me too.
And I'll start going and go, "Okay, no, they're not."
Yeah.
So, but it's what we're supposed to do. I mean, we're supposed to be able to give each other a hard time, and the bonus of that one is the ones that give you the hardest times. Those are the first ones come running when you need the help.
That's right.
Well, yeah,
And that's how it's always been. I mean, if you in the military, I mean, you would think that we hated each other.
Yeah.
I mean, all veterans, oh, look, F you, and hugging each other, and I hope you go, and you're wishing a whole bunch of horrible, ill will things upon your buddy, and they're laughing. I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah,
so I love the
when
messages.
Same thing when I was a corrections officer. Same thing. It was the people I worked with. The humor was grim.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. But we had each other's backs, so that was cool.
Right.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be. Well, so 500 subscribers.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
What do y'all think of that?
At the same time.
All of us.
Yeah,
Yep,
I think Alan hit it about like a week before you and I did, and we hit it on the same day. I thought that was cool.
Same day. That was pretty cool. And now I am 200. I'm just recording. I'm 200 away from 3,000 watch hours on YouTube.
Dude.
Heck yeah.
So
Very
I'm
cool.
almost at that first YouTube level.
Nice.
Almost there.
I got to get my view hours up. Hint, hint. Everybody watching.
Please like and subscribe.
No.
Share with your friend.
Yeah. What I think is funny, is pulling our shows together, and we all have, separate interests, but we also have things that we love together. Like we all love horror and all that kind of stuff. But only John has been the one that has suddenly figured out how to get all these B-movie actresses onto his show. Hence the giggling like a girl. I've listened to some of these, and I'm like, holy crap! How does he do this? I've even reached out to him like, how do you convince people?
It's the mullet.
It's got to be. That's
is.
what he says.
I'll be honest. I mean, and John will back me on this one. I mean, I've taken some shots. I sent some people some messages. They're big. They're out there on TV and stuff. We were about this close to Rob Lowe at one point. We were about this close to Rob Lowe. So Rob Lowe's people, y'all still listening? I still would want to bring it closer. Just saying.
Yeah, he had a Bigfoot encounter, didn't he?
Yeah, actually, I knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who started trying to pull strings, and now I'm actually trying to reach out to a particular playmate who had an encounter with the film crew.
That would be awesome.
That didn't sound.
It was on a late night show talking about it.
It wasn't that kind of encounter, Chris. Get your head out of the gutter.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but she was on. Yeah, she was on. What's his name? The guy who likes the cars. The one that liked all the cars.
Leno.
Yep, she was on Leno.
Yeah.
And talked about her encounter some years ago. So so I've been trying to find her like Instagram or something like that.
Yeah.
Just be like, be that weird creepy guy. Hey, I saw you
talking about
Leno.
a playmate. One of the things I always tell my wife, I have very low self-confidence, which is one of the things that a lot of folks who know me find that interesting because my personality is very big, right? But so like sometimes my wife, she'll say, do you have a good day? And I was like, oh yeah, man, it was the second best day of my life. Well, when was the first one? Back when I was with Hugh Hefner in the Playboy Mansion. I'm always doing stuff like that. She's like, you've never met a play bunny. I'm like, I know.
I have.
What?
At Dragon Con one year, they had like a whole bevy of playmates, and the older ones were a whole lot prettier than the newer ones. The newer ones, you could tell that they did a lot of airbrush, a lot of Photoshop. The older ones were nice.
Yeah. So we just found out that brother Chris is into MILFs.
Cougar hunter.
They're not MILFs now. They're young to me.
Oh,
I'm 55 for crying out loud. They're not MILFs.
So, yeah.
And now I can't let my wife hear this.
Yeah.
So, thanks a lot, guys.
You brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We can edit it.
No.
No.
What's saying is
No.
All right. So
I've never met a
one
playmate, but I have met like the Seattle Seahawk, one of the Seattle Seahawk girls.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah.
So, and I was, and we actually exchanged emails. We were emailing back and forth there for a little bit. So that's my little claim to fame.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah.
And one of Bill Clinton's aides.
Ooh, that's
Well,
saying a lot.
yeah,
wait.
right.
Wait.
Yeah, my Army
Right.
buddies might remember that one. Yep. So in Korea, when I was stationed there, I had President Clinton promote one of my soldiers from a POC to specialist, and so we were keeping a secret from him. And the day before, one of his aides came out, an attractive blonde, shocker, and
Yeah.
you know, of course, we're in the field, we're in the Army, so almost everybody was an attractive blonde at that point in time. But she wanted to meet and stuff, and we're talking, and we're walking around, and the USO was trying to, you know, bring our morale up because, you know, the president's coming, so when he gets here, we're supposed to be happy. So they got a movie truck out and free sodas and popcorn and hot dogs, and you know, so I took her around and showed her we were out at a gunnery range, which was funny. So but they turned the showers on for us, and we had nice cots, and it was November, so it was warm. It was nice. They had heaters. We weren't suffering. But that night we watched the Armageddon together, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, when you come back to the States, here's my email, and you should email me, and you know, where would you like to get stationed at?" And I'm going, so yeah,
Wow. That's a
Cool.
cool story.
that's
All
my
right,
little
so you
thing
said
to
that was during
Now
the
we know where
Clinton
the
era. Is
stain
that what you
dress
said?
came from.
Yeah.
now this was during that time because we were brief, no cigar jokes.
Nope.
And I will tell you though, his Secret Service detail was on because I had in my grenade pouch on my LBV, frigate's rank, the specialist rank. So when I was putting my fingers in there to pull it out, you know, they had the sunglasses and everything on. We could tell the guys like looking right at me, like,
Yeah.
you know, and I was just slowly pulling it out, like, "Don't tackle me, dude. This right here.
Yeah.
Just right." So
So look, all right. So this is the beauty of this kind of conversation. I too have a President Clinton story. Okay, so back when I was younger, I used to catch shoplifters for a living. Okay, so I was in this one store, in Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia.
Fort Oglethorpe, yeah.
Right? And for whatever reason, man, the freaks, we would always catch the freaks out of that store. And there was this guy, and he was retired Marine. Okay. And dude, he was quiet. He was short, stocky, and he didn't have that Marine mentality. He was, you know, like the alpha male thing, but he was very reserved, always quiet. And his name was Sam. Well, whenever I had an especially crazy shoplifter that I thought, oh, this is going to be weird, because we tackled them, we'd roll around. This is back in the day. We'd roll around the parking lot with them, all this kind of stuff. If I saw one come in and I thought it was going to be particularly rough, I'd grab him. Come on, Sam. And man, I mean, we would just, I mean, he when we got into it and it was on, he took control. I mean, we would get these guys and beat them down, right? So one day we're sitting at lunch, and I said, "Brother Sam," I said, "you're awesome." I said, "I really appreciate you." I said, "It must be all that Marine training." And he was like, "Yeah." And we're just talking. And he goes, "Yeah." And something came up about Clinton. He goes, "Man, I hated Clinton." I said, "Well, most of us do, right?"
Yeah.
And he says, "Yeah." He goes, I had to see him every time he got on Marine One. And I went, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Oh, I was the Marine that saluted him every time he went up on Marine One." I was like, "Bull crap, you are not." And he got
Cool.
so pissed off. I'd never seen this. I mean, he was just this all the time. He got so pissed off, and he gets up and he leaves, right? So what happens is he clocks out. He was so mad that he was on lunch anyway. He goes home, and he comes back, and he brings me a Marine ball cap, right? And a picture of him saluting the president as he's walking on Marine One, and both the hat and the picture were signed by Bill Clinton. And he was like, "In your face, asshole." I was like, wow. No, I literally caught shoplifters with a guy who was the guy who saluted the president of the United States on Marine One.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I have no President Clinton stories.
That's my only one.
Well,
But I will be honest and say that, you know, when we met him, because we were part of the stat display when he came through, super friendly guy. He really was. But he would not, you know, when you're shaking hands with people, they're coming down. So they're shaking hands, and he's shaking my hand. He kept shaking my hand. He kept shaking my hand. And I'm trying to find a polite way of pulling my hand back. And so when we were doing the promotion, he turned to me and goes, "Hey," all like thinking I was getting. I was like, "No, him." So I was trying to, because he was like going, "Oh, put his arm around me." I'm like, and he's a big dude too. He wasn't like, I mean, Clinton was a big guy. So, but yeah, that's my only president story that I have. That's about it. One of his aides, got my email address and was wanting to email me, and
Well, that's cool.
And why
that's
didn't
about
you?
it. Huh?
Did
I
you
was
email
busy.
her?
No, dude. This is back in '98. In Korea, email was dial up.
Right.
So we didn't have we didn't have emails in our rooms and stuff like that. And she gave it to me out in the field, and truth be told, that the paper that it was on got wet, and
Yeah.
that was it. Because we were out there training. I mean, they
Right.
stopped down training for, they're like, "Yeah, this is what's going on," and we were like, "What?" I mean, it was nice. I mean, just set up. I mean, USO coming out watching movies and stuff, and fresh
Cool.
hot coffee, and we're just like, man, it's great. But that was a lot of fun.
Cool.
A lot of fun.
What I think's funny is Alan shut off his camera because he was leaving the room, but then he walked behind Chris, so we all saw him leave the room anyway.
And that
No, we're not in the same room. We're in separate places.
I didn't think that through.
He traveled.
This, try to do the dog
There's a
walk.
portal.
I went to get
Portals.
this and I didn't get an opener.
Hang on.
I can't shut your camera off. It's on your phone.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. Okay, so now we've hit 500 subscribers. Okay, and what's the direction you see your show going?
That's a good question.
That is an awesome question, actually. Alan, why don't you answer first while I think about it?
Oh, well, thanks for putting me on the hot spot. All right, so here's what I hope. And this is my goal, and I think you guys.
There we go.
because
Goal,
you're-
not hope. Goal.
That's right. You
We're
guys
putting
are part of
into
the
goal,
inner,
not hope.
right? You guys are part of the inner circle. So thank you, Chris. So y'all know my hopes and dreams. We talk about that a lot. But for the folks out there in internet land, one of the things that I'm very goal oriented. I know how to put a plan together. I know how to execute that plan. So my hopes and dreams and goals and plan is that this show, Nevermore Hollows, will have books published, and that it will either someday be a TV show or a movie. That's what I want. And that's what I'm working toward. And I know that it's possible. And I know that no matter how hard we work, Chris and you guys, because y'all have played a role in the show as well, that if it's God's will, it'll happen.
Yep.
So I keep trying to tell myself to enjoy the ride. And Chris does too. Chris is always cautioning me because he sees me get down when I'm like, man, I'm working so hard at this. And when you see that it's taken me 4 years to get to 500 subscribers and you see all this other stuff just slowly happening, I get down. And but to keep this a positive thing, there's a plan in place. We're executing that plan. We're doing things. We've got some local stuff coming up.
Right. And see, it's grassroots stuff.
Yeah.
The slow grow, I think, is better than the fast stuff. And the slow grow,
I agree.
You get people who are there to listen.
Yeah.
And we'll get there.
Yeah.
Because we have awesome people that are with us, and it's our group's getting bigger.
Yeah.
And so everybody cross pollinates. Everybody, tries to help everybody, which is the way it's supposed to be.
Yep.
But as creatives, we all get to that point where it's just like, what the crap is going on? Why can't this, why can't this work? Why can't this work? But we keep going at it because it's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's well said. So, and one of the things that I knew, and I think John and I were talking about this the other day, or maybe it was Nellie. It was Nellie when we were interviewing Nellie. I was like, I know that I cannot continue to write at the pace I was writing.
Oh yeah.
The quality will slip. So I went down to one story a month, and I feel that the quality has gotten back up to where I want it. But I have to start inviting people in and going, here, you're a writer. I know you're a writer, like James.
Yep.
I know you're a writer. You've published books about vampires. So would you like to write a story that is in Nevermore, a Nevermore Hollow story? And then having you be the art guy, having you create the merchandise from this point on. And obviously we'd collab, but you taking that lift so that I can focus more on the writing. You're already doing voice work. What I envision is you guys to help do some voice work in the future now that we're learning technology so that we can figure out how to do this and it sound good.
I don't know anything about technology. Tommy? Where's Tommy?
Right. But my thing has always been how do these other shows do the voice work and it sounds so smooth, by using this type of stuff and because the software I'm terrible at technology too. It takes me forever to learn something.
All right, me too.
But just
Look, I
inviting
need help
people.
turning on the computer to upload to the drive.
Right.
And I'll be like, what button is it again? Am I doing this right? Oh, yeah. And what's funny, though, is that 20 years ago, I was the guy
right
for technology. Now I'm like, I have no idea what this stuff
back
does.
when it was dial up.
Yeah. Now I have to call my kids.
Right. Yeah. My son hates it when I call him. I go, how do I do X? And he's like, you're a boomer. But he's into this audio. This is his literal day job is this kind of stuff.
Right.
So, but anyway, all said and done, that's where I hope and pray and plan on Nevermore Hollows to go. So,
we have talked about having plushies for merchandise. I know a guy, and I want action figures. I want stuff like that, and of course T-shirts and things. But we're talking about TV shows. I told Alan, I said I would love to see an animated show.
Oh yeah.
That way we don't have to worry about what kind of special effects we're going to do. We're just going to do them.
Yeah, we just draw them in there. Yeah.
And
but with comic, you're wanting to do a comic book.
Yep.
So I was thinking the other day, Ethan knows how to work through that process.
Right.
You've done them too.
Yep.
But it's been some time. So so what we're going to do is you obviously know how to draw the comic books, but how do we get those into people's hands? Well, Ethan's doing that every day.
He's doing well.
So I think it's time to start a Nevermore Hollows comic book, Chris.
Because it is the time of the indie comic, because the big comic book guys
suck
so bad.
So anyway,
it's when
Tell us how you really feel.
look, I have literally right now, I've both of these stacks right here on the floor.
all right.
If you stack them up, I've probably got a 2.5, 3 foot stack of comic books, but none of them are the big comic book guys anymore because they all suck. So, but anyway, so one of the things, and then we can turn it over to these guys to talk about their show. But one of the things I love about you is that first day we were sitting, I said, okay, you're part of the show. What do you want to do? And you went, we need a menu. And I went, for what? And you said, Winona's Waffle Hut. And I was like, why do you need a menu from Winona's Waffle Hut? And he goes, to sell. And I went, oh my God, that's brilliant.
Little did I know how hard it is to make up a menu. And I was actually talking about this to someone yesterday, one of my wife's relatives, and she's like, oh yeah, I did this art project where I had to make up a menu. And I'm like, how did you do that? And she looked at me like, because she's 23, and no, she's a very intelligent young lady. And so we were talking about that stuff. And of course, then Alan has found out that I will talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I don't care what they look like. I don't care if they have a gun in their hand. I want to talk to them. And so we're at this birthday party yesterday, and I said, "So you listen to podcasts?" So I talked when I had my.
I was getting ready to go there. I want to hold up your finger.
Yeah.
Wait, this is a great story. He's missing part of his finger that he lost last year. Okay.
Right.
So he calls me. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm sitting here and they're cutting my finger off." And hey, I'm trying to get him to listen to the podcast.
So the doc comes in. I'm in the ER. He goes, "I'm just going to do this in the ER." I said, "We're cool." And then I thought he's going to pull out specialized tools, and it looks like stuff he got from Harbor Freight. But so he goes, so you want to talk about stuff? I said, yeah. What do you want to talk about? He goes, I don't know. I said, you listen to podcasts? And he's trimming the bone down. And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, well, I do a podcast with a guy. And it was the surgeon and his student, because one of the local hospitals in one of the bigger cities we're close to is a teaching hospital. So, and out of all these students, nobody got me a cup of coffee. They all had them, but yeah, and so Alan's like, you did what? And I said, well, I mean, he asked.
So look, if that is not dedication, I don't know what is. So,
my wife comes in and I'm talking about it, and she goes, oh, and she just rolls her eyes, but because she knows better. But seriously, we found out that we did our first horror convention a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And we found out that people are really hungry.
Yes.
For good content.
Yeah.
And so that's what we would start. They're like, what is Never More Hollows? And we go, hey, it's a podcast. And we would talk, and or Alan would like, hey man, I like your shirt. Somebody had a Misfit shirt on. Somebody had, and then people, that was the first day. And then people came back the next day going, hey, I listened to that.
Yeah.
I listened to this. And this guy was huge. He was one of the security guys. He came by and he goes, that's a creepy story, man.
Yeah.
They're kind of messing with me.
One guy, I walked up to the concession stand after we got to host our first panel.
Our very first panel.
And I walked up to the concession stand. There was this guy. He goes, no, dude, they're called nom-noms. And they're crazy, man. You screw it. He goes, I went up to my car and listened to it, man. Go listen to the nom-noms episode. And he turns around and he goes, hey, here's the guy. He's the Nevermore Hollows guy. Yeah. So that was kind of dope, but that's what we're currently doing, is that kind of stuff, going to cons and whatnot. So there it is. That's Nevermore Hollows plans and hopes and dreams and goals. So thank y'all for letting us have that moment.
Ta-da!
We're Jews from the internet.
Next.
All right, John, you're next.
Honestly, I got into podcasting just to have fun.
Yep.
If I make money from this, great. If tomorrow something happens and I can't podcast anymore, I can say I had a absolute blast this last year.
There you go.
I met some amazing people. I've talked to some amazing people, and I've made connections that I feel I've made friendships for life.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, everybody wants to be able to quit their day job and be a podcaster. If it never happens, I'm still having a blast. I've met you guys. I've met so many people that, I thoroughly enjoy this. Whether I make any more money off of it than I already have or not, I'm content. I'm having fun, and we all have our 9-to-5 jobs right now, and this is my escape. Being able to talk to people, being able to hear, from people that I would have never met in any other fashion, other than some guy at a freaking Bigfoot jamboree says, "Hey, why don't you start a podcast?"
Right.
And I did, and it led me to all these amazing people that I've talked to over the last, well, I guess it's been 9 months now, almost a year. But it took me to Oregon, thanks to Matthew and the connection to Todd Meeks. Just all these connections is just this is what I think is cool.
And that's what art is about.
So many people that I would have never met, doing my regular 9-to-5 or just, going to a Bigfoot jamboree. And, if I wasn't, method camp at the time, none of this would have happened either. So, I'm just enjoying the ride, Yes. Do I want to make money? Absolutely. Buy me a coffee,
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to start Patreon. Buy some crap. Subscribe, whatever. But if I don't make a dime, I'm having an absolute blast, and that's all that matters to me.
And that's what I've got to get
Yeah.
in my head, because I'm going to write whether I'm, whether I'm financially
yes,
successful at it or not, I'm going to write. So enjoy enjoy it with you guys. This is so fun when we do all this stuff together.
Well, I have done cartoon voices my whole life. I've gotten in trouble, for parents, teachers, and everything else. And now I get to do it because I want to.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And, you guys, are adding to all that
Mhm.
because now I have all these things to listen to while I'm working, and it's John and it's the Drunken Cryptids and it's this and it's that, and then I get more ideas,
Mhm.
or it makes me happy. It makes me laugh. That one thing that makes me happy is that I can hear the progression of how everybody keeps getting better.
Yeah, that's a good thought. Yeah.
And it's better and better and better. And that is another thing, because I'm proud. I'm proud to know you guys. I'm proud to say you're my friends. And and then the looks I get from people when I go, yeah, I know a guy who does ghost hunting and stuff. I know a guy who's gotten pictures of something and we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And they go, really?
Yeah, it's fun stories. It's like I was saying when I shared the
Right.
pictures,
Yeah,
it's fun.
and I love that people just look at you like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? But again, people have always looked at me because I'm like that, because I'm funny looking. But now
No.
there's a meaning behind it. So there.
So what about you, Matthew? What's your goals for Drunken Cryptids?
I'm going to piggyback on what you were saying right there too. Is that one, I get monetized one day, great. If I don't,
Yeah.
great. I mean, just by going through and doing a passion. I mean, Cryptids Paranormal has been my passion all my life. This is
Right.
for me. This is a dream come true, and it just took hitting that record button that first time
Mhm.
to start it. And I'll never forget. It was off of a laptop and an iPad. There was no
Right.
microphones, no headphones. It was sitting outside. It was the first episode. My buddy Rick, my army buddy, and we're talking about, what they had for dinner and stuff like that. This haunted,
That is my favorite.
this haunted
My
thing.
favorite.
And now, I mean, I had people reach out and cast me into a D-level movie. It's not even B level. It's going to be D level. But it was so much fun to do it. And same people reached out again. Hey, we want you to be in this miniseries for Merlin and be Merlin. You have to be Merlin.
Wow.
I get to dress up and act as Merlin.
Cool.
And I'm like, so I was going, it's not King Arthur, but Merlin's pretty badass. I mean, let's just be
Yeah,
honest.
so
It's
Here's what's going to
Merlin.
happen is when you show up and you realize that you're Marlene and not
It was a typo.
But again, too, though,
Merlin.
same thing with with what John was saying too, though. I mean, Todd Neese. I get a chance to meet with Todd Neese, and this is a guy where and it's funny. He's on TV. I mean, these are the people that we grew up watching to a point without realizing it. And Todd, being such a super nice guy that he is, invited me to be part of Search for Sasquatch. So I was filmed in a documentary to go. I would have never thought 2 years ago that I'd be doing this.
That's right.
And now I'm doing my own expeditions, and now I'm going out, doing my own field research and coming up with my own theories. And it's, yeah. So the direction I see is just honestly forward. Where it's going to go, I don't know. But I tell you what, I'm excited to find out because the ride is because I'm enjoying the ride. And
But here's one thing: all our podcasts don't piggyback off anybody as far as our ideas. We're all original.
But I tell you that I got to pause you real quick just to make you laugh. So I have scheduled this guy to talk about the MUFON lights.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've done this. And as I have him on the calendar to talk about it, lo and behold, I turn on Cryptids of the Corn. And guess what they're talking
Oh.
about?
Yeah.
And I
Really?
messaged Justin. I said, dude, I'm interviewing a guy about those like next week.
And that's
But,
going to happen.
you know,
I mean,
Yeah.
we have. I mean, I've seen it with other shows too. It's like, wait a minute, I just talked to somebody about this, and now I'm listening to, I don't know, Cryptic Creature Show, and they're talking about the exact same thing. It's like, holy cow, do I really want to release this week?
Yeah.
Yes,
But
I'm going to.
Yeah.
we
going
don't
to,
say
because
the same
that-
things that they do.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not like it's that you're taking notes on their show. There's stuff that is on your shows that and I'm pretty familiar with a lot of things, but I find something out there. I hear some new fact, some new something from you guys that I've never heard from anybody else. And again, I can say, hey, I know these guys and they're pretty cool.
Yeah,
You know.
and when we were talking to Nellie, we were
Yeah.
talking about this one thing where I was listening to some true crime podcasts there for about a year, and I loved their There was two different ones, and I loved their presentation, but they kept saying, "I got my info from the the Chris Madman show," and then I'd go, "Well, let me go listen to the Chris Madman show," and Chris Madman show would go, "Well, I got mine from the Drunken Cryptids,"
Right.
and I'm like, well, it was just a regurgitation of a regurgitation. Where you guys are different is you're not doing that. You're pulling people on and going, let's talk about this. We're not referencing these other things. Let's
Right.
talk about you in the moment. And that gets it more personal and real.
Oh, yeah,
and,
yeah. The interviews
Yeah.
and stuff that you guys do, they're good. And it's people that, that I might not ever come in contact with, but I learn stuff. And there's no bots involved. I found another one the other day
Yeah.
that it's one that I've listened to for a long time. And then I heard that, bots can't say certain words. And it said it, and I went, son of a, this isn't a real person anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm not listening. I'm done.
Yeah.
I want somebody real. I want somebody who has interview skills and somebody who has empathy and somebody who can go, yeah, I've been there. Let's go find out what that is.
I do want to interject just real quick, because I don't look at what I do as an interview. I have conversations
Right.
with people, and I think that I think we were going to head in this direction anyway. I think that's what makes my show just a little bit different. Is I don't have it's just a conversation, and I want to learn more about the person on top of their encounters.
Mhm.
Because I think that a lot of times when you listen to these shows and they have somebody come on, describe Bigfoot, how long was the second hair on its right, big toe, yeah, that's cool and all, but you don't get to know, like, that could be anybody reading a script.
Yeah.
So when I go into, when I have somebody on my show, I want to get that rapport. I want people to see that these are real people. They're not just some guy that I found on the street. Hey, I need you to tell this story on my show.
Mhm.
So I hope that when people watch my show or listen to my show, they see that, that's why I tell the jokes. That's why I make references to things that don't have anything to do with what we're talking about. Because
Like
this is a more
OnlyFans.
What's that?
Like OnlyFans.
Right. I might throw an OnlyFans joke in there, or bring up the fact that they have an OnlyFans. I don't care. But but the thing is, it gives people, if I've been on shows, I've been on other podcasts, and they don't care, about the person. All they want to hear is the encounter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want to mix the two.
Well, and
if I
in your
hear somebody
defense,
telling a story that, that's just like watching TV. I want to know the person.
Well, and that's one of the things I like, and I've messaged you here a while back when you were listening to the Squatch Girls or Squatch Ladies, whatever they're called.
She Squatchers.
She Squatchers, yeah, because you were allowing them to talk about some personal stuff.
Yep.
And I thought that was really interesting. And I think I even texted you that day. I was like, hey, this, that was an interesting conversation there. It went somewhere I didn't expect it to go.
And you better get their name right. They all know martial arts. So.
Well, I mean,
honestly,
I'm going to take you on that one too. That you're right though, is to get to know the interviewee. So, like, before I talk to, before I hit that record button, I'm on the phone with them for at least 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, hey, how was your day today? Did you have a good day? Because I already know they're going to get into something that traumatized them.
Right.
I already know that we're going to get into something that left a mark on them.
Mm-hmm.
So why am I just going to get on the phone and go, hey, John, how are you? Dude, you ready? Okay, here we go. All right, John, welcome back to another episode of Drunken Cryptids. So, John, what happened? Are you sure? You're full of shit, aren't you? I mean, and,
yeah. Everybody knows
honestly,
he is.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's how you feel sometimes going on these shows. If there isn't that report, it's like you're looking at them, and sometimes they're not even looking at it. Like, I like to do the video because I can see the expression on their faces.
Yes,
right.
I can see the emotion in their eyes. But and a lot of people, they do the video, but then they only release the audio. So the whole time I'm sitting there watching, and they're on their phone. They're not paying attention. They're just wanting that content.
Yep.
I'm not like that. I would say 90% of my guests, I still text. I still message them on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some of my guests will reach out. I've had great guests. Every one of my guests been great. And I've had to reach out and go, I wish I had more encounters to come back on and talk. I'm like, you can still text me. And
yeah,
I may not answer immediately because I'm busy, but I will eventually get to you and answer you, and, for the area that I've been investigating, with Lisa and that Ray up there. I always want to call him Roy. So I have to pause. Like, at least Roy. It's funny too because he'll look at me and go, "Yeah, I'm going to call you Bob." I'm like, "All right." So when he sees me, he goes, "Hey, Bob." But they are legitimately having some real, encounters that are still going on even as we're recording this. They're slowing down, I think, because of the heat. And I've come up with some theories of what's going on up there and looking at the geography of the area, the land area surrounding everything going into it, and the size of what we're dealing with as well. So I think I got a couple of juveniles up there, and I think they may kicked out of their clan pod orgy thing, whatever we're going to call the group of Bigfoot. And
dude, when you said that, oh my God, I laughed my ass off. And you're live when you called a group of Bigfoot an orgy. I thought, dude, that is phenomenal. I love it.
Trademarking that right now.
Absolutely. An orgy of Bigfoot.
Yeah, there's a whole new show right there.
So
I want you to know, I got flack for that from Talina for a while. Just for that. I think we went to my parents later on, and I brought it up, and she goes, "Yeah." So she was Googling. She's trying to Google what they call the group. They were like big feet. I was like, "No, we're going with orgy."
Yeah.
And my dad's laughing. He was laughing through the whole entire thing.
I love it. You need to trademark it, make shirts. You got to have merchandise with that. And if I could say something too about your show specifically, what I love when I listen to you is you bring a lot of energy. Matthew's energy is always up here. But also, if I can say this without going too deeply, knowing your journey and seeing how in love with life right now that you are, dude, that's dope. It is so good. I love it when I see you, when you're sending us pictures and you're like, look at this, here's me and my family. Oh, here's me out here looking at, for Bigfoot. Right. Here's, and then I hear him on his show with all that excitement.
And see,
love it.
The only thing I can think of now is hearing Dr. Meldrum talk about an orgy of Bigfoot.
Right.
It's going to happen.
I know. And I'm going to stand up in the back and go, yeah.
Yes. I know that guy. But we're talking about interviews and shows. What let's talk a little bit, and I'll start. I'll start it off. So we talk about how a lot of people do lot of guests, authors, stuff like that, do go on a lot of shows and everything. And I don't know about you guys, but I do like to try to listen to some of their other shows, what they've talked about and everything. And I'll just bring up Gary Wayne. I'm a huge fan of Gary Wayne. I'm a huge fan of
that
his
was,
work.
yeah, that was big
That
for
was
me, dude. He was so important to me a few years ago when I was going through all that cryptid stuff and learning more deeply. And then when he sends us a text,
Yeah.
says, "Guess what?"
I'm
I was like,
Gary
I'm
Wayne.
so jealous. All right, so
Yeah.
anyway, go ahead.
So my big moment was with Gary Wayne, and it crossed my mind numerous times listening to some other interviews, and I was trying to find a way to bring it up for our episode, and I did, and it went. That was probably like earth-shattering. I mean, it opened. I was like, whoa, and if there would have been a camera, it would have been me going, and that was the Nostradamus reference. And so when I asked him, I said, you think maybe in the quatrains, what he's talking about, he's describing the Nephilim, these weird looking things and how it's scripted. And without missing a beat, he went, well, Nostradamus is in on the bloodlines. He is one of them. He's talking about what they're supposed to be doing. That's what the quatrains going.
That's dope. Yeah.
So I was thinking, Nostradamus, yeah, he's one of the good guys. And I'm going, is he though?
Yeah.
So that one sticks out for me. And of course, I've had people get emotional on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and they get emotional and stuff. And it's, to me, I like being able to create that. And I hate using the term safe space, but that's what, the terminology is today. But I like to be able to create that environment to be able to have somebody come on and be comfortable enough to open up. And like we were talking before, I do like to goof off with them before, because I know that we're about to get into some deep topics. I know that we're going to get into some deep discussions. It's going to take them back to a time to where, still, I talk about the AHA, I get goosebumps still. I mean, I still, when I go into the detail about that encounter, I still, it messes with you. And I understand what these folks are going through.
Yeah, that's when you know it's real, when you create an environment where somebody can, like, and Chris has said this for years since I've known him. He goes, when you got guys that they spend the bulk of their lives out in the woods hunting stuff and all that, and they've seen some stuff, and when you hear them crack up and get emotional, it was a real encounter.
And when they don't go in the woods anymore.
Right.
Because, they've been doing it for 30, 40 years. They come across something, all of a sudden they sell all their stuff and they don't go outside at night.
Yeah. And then they come on your show and feel confident enough that they can allow that emotion to come through. So, it's a real event.
Because that's what my wife used to be a reporter. She's very, very skeptic. And that's what got her to start believing. Was we did CryptidCon in Kentucky, and there was all these people there, and everybody had a story. And a lot of them had pictures. Some of them actually had sounds that they'd recorded. And she's like, okay, maybe there's some truth to this. So now, and then I texted you guys the other night the other morning that my daughter saw a knot deer in a cemetery in Nashville that she was driving by. And I've asked her a couple things. It wasn't walking. It was just standing there. And
so when is she coming on my show?
Right.
Yeah. Well,
that sounds creepy.
Huh?
That's creepy. Yeah, the knot deer thing. I'm not gonna lie. I think I can handle having Bigfoot standing there looking at me from a tree. But I think we actually have footage of him doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, did I tell you? Oh, let's slip up that.
No. But you said a couple things about it, and then when you talked about the eye shine, and you had the reference to how big you thought the eyes were.
Huge. The eye shine, you guys, I'm not going to lie to you, was huge.
That right there, to me, is a huge clue, especially when it's eye shine and then it blinks. Yeah.
Yeah. When it blinked, I'm not going to lie, that was almost like, oh. I'm not going to lie. I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm not scared. I'm not scared in the woods. I mean, nothing at all. But when it blinked, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, okay. And I looked on over, and Chris is like 10 feet away. I was like, get back over here. And
But,
yeah,
yeah.
because it just disappeared. And I was,
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you, 7 feet from it.
that's crazy.
7 feet
Well,
from it disappearing.
Well, it's like you said. I have a theory, and I've told you guys this, but my theory is the ones that are messing with people are the teenagers.
That's what I think I'm dealing with on this property.
They're bored, you know.
I think
and
they're trying to
also-
establish their own orgy.
Well, inviting you.
Be careful, dude.
Right.
Be careful.
I'm gonna go out to my wife when this is over with, and I'm gonna go, baby. I'm gonna go try to find an orgy of Bigfoot, and I'm just gonna see her response.
I know the response. She's going to roll her eyes and look.
Yeah, right.
Same one my
You
wife
just,
did.
you just kind of work in the conversation like that. You know, I think they're out there trying to establish their own orgy, and they got
Yeah.
kicked out of the previous one. So they're, you know,
See how long it takes them to pick up on.
Well, the joke is, oh yeah, I've been to an orgy. Unfortunately, it was with Bigfoot.
Yeah. That's it, right?
So,
You know.
so
but what was
Matthew,
neat? Yeah.
so Matthew has said what his like highlight this past year or whatever was. Alan, what was your highlight for your show?
Oh man, I would say, for me, if you look at the last 12 months, you guys came into my life in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
So, my mind went to ShutterCon when we hosted our first panel, but
And-
my heart went to you guys.
Oh, of course.
So that would be it. Just get it. And I know it sounds sappy, and I know I'm wearing a pink shirt at the moment with a rainbow on it, but that's that's true. Meeting you guys
He is, folks.
through this show, that's the best part.
Well, that, and when we were at the jamboree, and the same day we met John, we met a super fan that we had no idea we had.
Yeah, that was dope.
And this lady knew every episode, and Alan goes, well, Chris, the artist is next door. And she's like, and came over, and I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah,
Somebody's listening.
somebody's and they drove over to see us.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
So
I had the same thing last year at the Little Rock Paranormal Expo. This couple came
Yeah.
up, and they were so excited. They were like, we want to buy T-shirts. And I was going,
Yeah. And
Thank
then
you.
we sent one of our Patreon subscribers, Peyton.
oh,
Okay.
yeah.
We sent Peyton, the care package that we sent for subscribing. It was a piece of signed art.
Uh-huh.
It was a T-shirt. It was a lanyard, some stickers.
Yep.
And they messaged us back and said that the signed piece of art has become one of their prized possessions. I'm like, dude, we're just some dudes
That's cool,
sitting
man.
in a bedroom,
Right.
writing horror stories.
Because I've always said people, they're like, are you an artist? And I said, no, I'm a cartoonist. Artists hang in museums and I hang in people's bathrooms.
Right.
But it's cool that somebody likes what we do.
Yeah, it was
You know.
awesome.
And it kind of it jazzes you up, Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I love the fans.
I do
they're
too.
awesome.
Oh yeah,
I
Chris?
love my audience, and I love my fans.
absolutely. So that was my highlight of the year. What was your highlight of the year? I mean,
Well-
you were kind of heading in that direction, I think.
Yeah, the super fan. My daughter commented on several of our shows. Yeah, she doesn't really listen to podcasts, but she started to, and she's listening to mine. But that's cool. When we were at ShutterCon, and the young lady we talked to Saturday came back with her friend on Sunday, and she came right up to Alan, and she's like, I listened to that episode and I listened to that other episode, and she just went on and on and on and on and on about how, and it's cool that people get it and they enjoy it and they know that it's fun. And we're not here to scare the crap out of you. We're not here to be political. We're not here to be anything. We're not trying to push anything. Alan wants to tell a good story, and I get to have fun in his sandbox. So I'm cool. And I think we all talked about that earlier is, yes, somebody asked me the other day, said, well, you know, if the podcast got big, would you quit? And I'm like, yeah, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, peace out.
Yeah, see
Peace
y'all.
out.
Yeah, been nice telling you, but you know, because yeah, that would be cool to do this full time. You know, and you know, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't happen, okay. I've still got stuff to do. I've still got cool people that I can call my friends. And you know, again, we are gathering this you know, I told Alan one time a couple months ago, I said it feels like we're gathering the Avengers. You know, we've got all these people who are from different backgrounds, but we all kind of deal with the same stuff. And you know, we're learning about things, you know, where and it's you know, Matthew says it all the time. There are no experts in this field, but we got a lot of people that know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and then we get to incorporate it into a story,
Yeah.
you know, that is, and yes, I'm going to brag about it. These stories are not like anybody else's out there. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. This little town in Georgia, and the way I describe it is like if Mayberry in the Twilight Zone had a baby. It's original. And that should be the goal for anybody. It's original. And you two guys are original. There's nobody else out there. There's nobody else like Matthew. There's nobody else like John.
Thank God
Yes.
for that.
Yes.
There's only one Matthew and
One
only
of
one
each
John.
is good enough.
I don't think the world would know what to do if there's more of us.
Right. Right.
You know, but
We had
yeah.
a PBR in England.
Right. I'm doing Red Stripe at the moment tonight.
I saw that. I'd have a Yingling, but me find that sore throat.
Yeah. So
I'm
before we let John tell what his highlight for the year was, I got a story. So 2 weeks ago, well, it was last Friday.
Yeah.
So last Friday, my son, he was in Nashville, and my son's band and his best friends text me on Friday night and says, "Hey man, you need to come to the Paddock." And that's a cigar bar down here in Cleveland that opened up, right? And they do karaoke, and you can buy drinks, you know, beer or you know, harder stuff. And I'm like, these dudes are all in there, you know, they're all like 22, 23, 24. I'm like, all right, dude, this is cool, because they like me. They've all grown up,
Yeah.
you know, in my house, you know. It felt good. So I go out there, and I sent you guys the one video of me doing Mother, right? So anyway, just the intro. But anyway, we go out there and we're talking. And at one point, I wasn't even drinking a Red Stripe. I was drinking something else. And one of them says, "Hey, Dad, Alan, his name's Riley Rowe. He's the guitar player in their band." And he says, "You know, here, we used to come over to your house and we'd open up the refrigerator and you'd always have Red Stripe in there. And we always thought that was an old man's drink. And then about 2 weeks ago, Cameron bought some just to be fun. Let's have an old man drink like Alan drinks." He goes, "Dude, this is some of the best beer we've ever had." I was like, "It's Jamaican. Why'd you think it was an old man beer?"
I don't know anything about old man beer.
No, I like Red
Right.
Stripe, though. I do like Red Stripe.
Yeah, it's good. All right. So, John, what is the highlight of the year for you?
There's a lot. There is a lot.
Yeah.
I would have to say the highlight so far would be Beachfoot, and that's
I was
thanks
hoping
to-
you would say that.
That was thanks to Matthew and Todd, which all goes back to Alan and Chris. You know, through the wheel, the hub of our wheel, Chris.
Yes, we are.
You know, I'd never been to the Pacific
nail on the
Northwest,
tire.
and through this podcast, I was able to make connections and be able to take that trip and meet some amazing, amazing people that I would have never met. And that was the first time outside of, like, you know, people from my hometown know who I am, you know, people around where I live now, you know, I've been recognized. Hey, you're that guy from TikTok, you know?
Yeah.
But here I am, I'm in Oregon, and I had people come up to me and say, "I know who you are,"
That's dope. Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool.
and and it was like it kind of, I had to kind of sit there for a second, like, really, like
Mhm.
I'm nobody here, you know. I kind of backdoored into this thing, but people knew who I was, and
Yeah.
it was at that point I was like, wow, this is kind of neat, you know,
Yeah.
that
So what you're saying is you're the guy from TikTok that backdoored into something?
yeah, I did. Thanks to Matthew. Matthew opened that back door for me. I was able to get in there.
Oh my
Man,
God.
don't y'all be hating.
And we're leaving this in. I don't care.
Right.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
Well, the cool thing is too is that we're all gonna be hanging out in Ada, Ohio,
oh yeah,
and
man.
that's what I'm excited about. You know, I
Oh,
really
yeah,
am.
it's gonna be awesome.
I'm gonna
Where
try.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got Timothy Wayne. Timothy Wayne's getting like he's already told me I'm going to give you like the biggest awkward hug. And I'm like going, Timothy Wayne wants to give me a hug. That's pretty cool. I
Well,
mean,
let me go back. You know, you're talking about the biggest thing. When we got to Ada last year, and Justin ran up to me and hugged me.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta say that was a cool thing, man. That was just cool.
And then even that, we've talked about this before. They invited us to the after party at the bowling alley.
Yeah.
And we had one of the best
Oh,
freaking
yeah.
pizzas of my
Yes.
life.
And the beer was good too.
Yeah. So me and Chris and my son was up there with us, and we're sitting there at the table, and we've got who was all those
Oh, there was
famous
there
people
were
there.
people everywhere.
Yeah. There was people there that had we were not known,
No,
and there were people
we're
there who
nobody.
were known. And Justin and
Justin and Jay.
and Jay got up there and they said, "We want to welcome the guys from Nevermore Hollows out
Right.
here tonight." I was like, "Dude,
You know.
that was dope." It was
And then we
cool.
got to see Wild Bill pull the
Yes.
waitress
Oh,
across
my
the bar and
goodness.
give her a kiss. And Alan goes, "Is that really happening?"
I'm like, "Dude, this guy, he's something else." But yes, but that is very cool that happened for you, John, because that's a really. I bet it was surreal. I bet it was surreal.
And the
It
cool
was.
thing is, I think we all might be together, like in a line at the Ada, Ohio
Very good.
Bigfoot Jamboree. So that ought to be a hoot,
Yeah.
because I think we're just going to have people laughing at us all day, but that's fine.
I've got to
Yeah,
spend
and then
time
we're-
at
we're
my
less-
own. I've got to
Say
spend time
what?
at my own tent, being John Fike / John Methenkamp, host of Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. Then I got to go over and be Darwin Gallows, and then I got to be
Yeah.
Methenkamp from the Nevermore Hollows universe, and then I'm going to put on a fake beard and go sit in Drunken Cryptids while he's up talking in the kids thing, and say I'm Matthew Orton from Wish.
Yes, you need to do that. Look,
I'm at your wish.
yes, and be rude to everybody. Just make inappropriate comments to them.
don't act like me.
Dude, you don't even look the
Yeah.
same.
Matthew at Drunken Cryptids got really inappropriate with me.
He kept trying to give me a business card for Myths, Monsters, and Mullets.
kept asking me if I wanted to go to an orgy with hairy people.
Sticking with that term. It's an orgy.
Dude, seriously, you need to copyright that.
Yeah,
That-
I'm
I got-
serious.
would
I got to
be-
figure. I got to get back with Brian in the paintball, and he's got to make that. I mean, he shot Bigfoot with a paintball gun.
Dude, that was the
That's a
funniest
T-shirt.
thing. Yes, I shot Bigfoot with a paintball gun and survived.
Yeah.
I was not
That was
expecting
awesome.
that. So during the episode, you guys, when he said that to me, I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And as soon as he started talking about he was moving around, I was like, no. I'm expecting trees. I mean, he goes, "Yeah, we started shooting." And I was going, "Dude, you shot." I mean, I stopped him right in the middle of the encounter. You shot Bigfoot with a paintball gun.
Right.
No one's done that I know of.
And
Well,
survive.
And my thoughts when I heard it was Bigfoot's going, that guy just shot me with a paintball gun.
Right.
What the crap?
And he just strolls off. He's like, "You asshole!
Yeah.
I don't know how to play right. I'll go back to my
Yeah,
orgy." I mean,
or he just went, I got to give him respect. I'll walk away.
Right.
yeah.
I'll
'Cause
let
if you
him
listen
do
to it,
it.
Brian talks about it too. He says it just kind of just strolls away. And I was just like, "Dude, that's crazy."
Yeah.
So yeah, right. So that kind of gets us to this question. What if you were to tell people a specific episode to be the gateway drug to your show, what would it be?
I hate this one. I hate this question.
I do this too. When people ask me, I hate saying, "Go to this episode."
If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
But let's do this a different way.
Okay.
Alan,
Okay.
what episode would you tell people to go to Drunken Cryptids to listen to?
Oh, good
Oh,
Oh,
one.
wow.
Oh, that's
I
a good one.
think I think it's the most recent one. That one was trippy, man.
Yeah, that one was
That
good.
one was trippy. You know, because
Which
you
one?
even reached out to and you went, "Did you listen to that
yeah,
one?"
yeah.
And so that's a good one because it wasn't your normal kind of conversation.
No, and you know,
And what was the name of that one?
I'm trying to think. I can't look on my phone. Hang on.
Yeah.
Gary
But, I
Wayne's the
mean,
one
you
that
know-
got me. Gary Wayne was a good one.
Well, yeah, that
Lisa
was a
and
good one.
Ray. Lisa and Ray's encounter was really good. The Shane guy. The Shane guy just had
Yeah.
on it. He was really
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. That's it. That's it. Yeah, because you know,
You know,
Gary
and
Wayne.
what was neat for Shane though is that he's so passionate to where you ask him, okay, so blah.
Yes.
There was no like,
Yeah.
hang on, let me Google that. No, it was
Right.
boom,
Oh,
boom,
he
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've got to say for Matthew's show, Roger, LBL.
Roger.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one too.
That was a good
because
one.
That
Thank you.
that was a lot of myth busting right there, and that was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I like that one.
That was fun to do. And again, I got to give Chris props because, and I said before, Chris was pushing really hard for an LBL, and everybody's done LBL. If
Mhm.
you listen to podcasts, there's always going to be at least one episode of the LBL. And, you know, like we were talking earlier, we're trying to separate ourselves from everybody else. Like everybody goes,
Right.
so you've been down to Falk? No, everybody goes to Falk.
Right.
It's 2 hours away. I don't want to go. Like even in Hot Springs, believe it or not, when we were just down there this past weekend, no, every place down there had Bigfoot stuff. I mean, I was sitting there going, this wasn't here
Right.
like 3 years ago, but okay. So I asked the lady
Yeah.
Friday night at one of the stores, I was like, y'all like seeing him or what's going on? And she goes, no, it's just real popular and everybody's talking about him all the time and people are talking about seeing him. I was going, well, I write a podcast about blah, 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 blah,
Right.
you know. And there's Selena going, but she did buy Bigfoot earrings, which was pretty funny.
There you go.
There
So-
you go.
But for,
Coming
you know,
around.
Chris, though, yeah, Chris wanted to do the LBL episode really, really strong. And I finally said, okay, you know what I mean? You know, you're my buddy. So what you want to do, let's do an episode. You do the research, you dig into it,
Yeah.
and I'll interview you per se and ask you questions about it. And he
Right.
said, okay. And then about 3 days later, he texts me and he sends me a link to the show and he goes, I think I found a survivor. And I went, no, you did not. No, you did not. And what's funny is that so the day that I emailed Roger on an email that he'd put out was a wrong email. And I got another email that same day from Roger and it said, I understand you're looking for me.
Yeah, that's
Do you want to
weird.
talk to me?
Dude.
And I went,
Yeah.
so we talked and I told him, yes, no, dude, I don't have that email anymore. I was going, what? And he goes, yeah, someone told me today I need to talk to the Drunken Cryptids. I was like, what?
Wow.
So there was so much magic that happened with the
That was a
Roger
good one.
thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, and what I really like about the Roger is the myth busting that we did do. And,
Yeah.
you know,
And see, that's
I'm the
thing.
biggest
I'd forgotten
believer.
about that one. Yeah.
I'm the biggest believer when it
Yeah.
comes to this stuff, but I'm also the biggest skeptic. You know,
Yeah.
even in our own investigation area, to where like I'm on the fence on some evidence that we have, and I don't know. I don't know. So I have to go with the no. If you know what I mean,
Right.
if I can't
And, you
say
know,
don't have a clue what that is, so yeah, that's weird. Or could that be it? If there's a possibility it could be something else, then I have to go with that.
Yeah, so I think that's probably needs to be the episode then, because if you
Yeah.
think about it, because it goes against, because all these
It goes
others are
against
like,
everything.
oh, that's real, that's real, that's real, you know, whether it is
In
or not. And this
1982,
one
this
did. This
family
one
of
made you
four.
think. Yeah, right.
Right,
This
right.
this one made you think soberly of it.
Well, you know, and they asked him about, well, what about this? What about this? He goes, yeah, that no,
Yeah,
that, you know, And because I've heard so many different stories about that same incident. And this guy's like, no. And he just went down the list.
Yeah.
And he was very matter of fact. He didn't try to overemphasize anything. He was just telling his story.
Yeah.
And it gave me the creeps, really.
It's a scary encounter.
Yeah. When he was talking about the quote unquote government agents or whatever they were, and how, that dude just became a family friend and just was like there all the time.
Right.
And I'm like, dang,
right.
Just like a minder, I think.
Right.
I think there's a lot more to Roger's story than I think Roger even knows. And I think that Roger started coming out to try and find out more of his story.
Okay, so Chris, sing us a song.
You don't want that to happen. Lord, no. We do need to do I wonder if we need to do
I hope he can come back in because this was going really well.
It was. This has been a great episode so far.
We need to do a Nevermore Hollows theme song.
Yeah. John sent one.
Did he really?
Yeah. I need to share it with you. I just haven't had a chance to do anything with it.
Wait, you need a Nevermore Hollows song?
Yeah, that Nevermore Hollows song.
We just get.
I think I got it on my computer. Hang on.
Yeah, play it for us.
I go way back here.
Let's get the guy from Oingo Boingo to do it.
Yeah.
Let me do it this way. I'll do it. I was trying to look through my downloads, but
I shouldn't have drank that beer. Every time I drink beer, as much as I love beer, it messes with my blood pressure medicine.
Me too. Well, it did that even before I was on blood pressure medication. I'd drink a beer and my face would be bright red and kind of hard to be cool when you look like a stop sign.
Oh, I know how I can play it. Hang on.
Can he hear us?
Bluetooth connected.
Can you hear us, Matthew?
I'll text him.
I don't know how else to fix this.
Heck, it's usually me that's dropping out. So
yeah, I don't know how to fix it either, man.
Can you hear it?
Just barely. There we go.
Nevermore hollows where the shadows glide. Psycho juju man, a demon in a monkey skin.
See, I can't hear it because I'm running into my mic set
to pull you in.
That's dope.
I like it.
Granny Dingo struts in her pink velour.
Granny Dingo struts in her pink velour.
Cold black magic pure. Rusty old bike, Stevie and Rory ride through Flamingos Park where the pain don't hide.
I thought I'd shared that with you. I'm sorry.
Screams in the night where the
People are getting some really good
nothing
content right
feels
now.
right. Sheriff Mo's life is full of justice tide. Ivanovich keeps the peace in the fight. On Blackened Hill, the witch cast her spell. Hellborn whispers round the trailer park swell. Stevie and Rory, fistful of justice tight. But in this wild ride, dreams
Kind of a standard vibe.
Yeah, it's cool.
I like it.
Is it over?
Yeah, go ahead. So he texted us and said, just carry on, finish up without him. He's having whatever issues. He says it's the government trying to silence him on Roger.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay,
Well, I mean, the same thing happened when we were talking with the Dancing Toaster.
Yeah.
You know, we had no issues, and all of a sudden we had a ton.
Yeah. Right when we started talking about Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's talk about our episode for John. All right. So I got to say, there's two. The one, and my ADHD brain won't let me remember some of the titles, but when you had the couple on there
Yes.
with the husband and wife,
Yes.
and those stories were so wild.
Yep.
And your approach, and this is why I'm thinking, we talk about how well you are, how good you do at being inviting. And, you talked about your approaches to get to know people. You were trying to let their personality shine,
Yep.
and you were letting them tell the story.
Mhm.
And it was so organic. And some of the stuff that came up in that episode was crazy, man.
Yeah.
I was texting John. I was like, wow, this
Yeah.
is nuts, man. So,
And then, I think his personal encounter.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is the one
Yeah.
that because that is, it's scary
Yeah.
and it's real, and that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. So, right. So it'd be kind of hard too, like with Matthew, which would be the gateway drug. But, I think that one that I just mentioned, obviously his personal one, but two, the ones with Mel. I mean, and not just with Mel, but the fact that he has worked his way into interviewing all these actresses, right? So
getting these girls that, and she's done hundreds of movies.
Right. But the way that you get in those three that we're talking about, well, in the two, because the personal one, it's less of an interview and more of a personal story.
Yeah.
But these that we've mentioned with Mel and the couple, that clearly gives you the flavor of Meth and Camp. John Miss Mullets and Miss Monsters. I can't even speak all of a sudden. Miss Monsters and Mullets. It gives the flavor, and it shows why it is different than other folks.
I appreciate that. I would have to say, my interview with Mel Heflin is up there, one of my favorites, because it was different.
Yeah.
I branched out a little bit there. I got to throw in that same veil. I've got to throw Iabu in there. Iabu Windermere.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Because it's different. Just because, yes, they had some paranormal encounters, but again, it was getting to know people that you're normally going to see on TV or in a movie, or they're going to do a quick 5-minute interview with whoever and talk about just a movie.
Yeah.
And I felt like I got to know, like, I'm not trying to brag here, but I message Mel Heflin once a week.
Yeah.
She'll send me stuff, and it's
Right.
like, and I took a chance. I was like, I like the movies that she's in, because it's my type of humor and that independent horror movies. I'm like, screw it. I'm going to send her a message. The worst she can say is, or worst thing that can happen is she just doesn't ignore, or she doesn't read my message, and it's like, what am I out? I'm out the 5 minutes it took me to write. Hey, I got this really small podcast, and I really enjoy your movies. Would you want to become on and maybe talk about it? And if you have a paranormal encounter, that makes it even better. And she's like, hang on. And she added me as I sent that on her fan site or whatever, and like 2 minutes later I get a friend request from her personal one, and she's like, yeah, let's do it.
Cool. And see,
And
that's it too. That shows
why did you accept, what made you accept this? And she goes, I don't know, I just had a good feeling about you.
Yeah. Well, and that's it too, because it's called Myths, Monsters, and Mullets, but it's more than that. Like you said, when she starts talking about some of her personal life experiences, like you say, you're like, oh, well, now it's a human interest story. It's not just, oh, I had this paranormal encounter, and like in her situation, there was, the death of was it her mother of her mother.
And if you haven't watched that, I watched that after talking to her.
Yeah.
And honestly, I am going to say Mel is probably my favorite interview so far.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that about her. I didn't know about the details of her mother's death.
Yeah.
And she told me about that during the interview. That was the first time I'd heard about it. And the next day, Becca and I were sitting on the couch. I'm like, let's watch that. I want to find out about it. And you watch these true crime shows, or shows like that, where they're talking about unsolved mysteries or whatever, and it's just people on TV.
Yeah. Right.
And I turn on this show, and I'm listening to this. I mean, it was horrific.
Yeah.
What happened to her mother. And I'm not ashamed to say I teared up, because I just talked to her the night before, and I feel like, I can't say she's my friend, but I feel like I had a personal connection with her.
Right.
And now I'm seeing this part, and it made it real,
Yeah.
So, when I'm watching these shows now, it's like, holy cow, normally they're just shows, but now it's like, these are real people. And that's what I'm trying to do with my show, is to show that these aren't just stories, they're people.
Right. Yep. Well, and that's the kind of stuff I'd gravitate toward anyway. Something that you can go a little bit deeper than just the encounter or whatever. Right.
The facts.
And we've got that, my wife and I, we love watching true crime stuff, and we've got that episode lined up, but we've just not gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, I've got it.
But Mel is such a hoot to watch, when you've got her on the show too, like I try to, when you've got her on, I try to watch those instead of listen to them, for a couple of reasons. One, she's easy on the eyes. Two, is she's very, she's very animated,
Right.
so.
Well, I thought you watched it because of my mullet.
Well, your mullet is, your mullet, very sexy.
That's what draws people in.
So, since I can't ask Matthew this question, I will just go ahead and answer the question.
Yeah.
My favorite episodes of Nevermore Hollows, and I'm not going to pick my own. I'm not going to do it. I mean, that would be easy, even though it was a really good episode. I would have to say either Psycho Juju, number 1.
Yeah.
Or them Trailer Park Witches.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I'll tell you what. Here's something that surprises me. Okay, you were the first one to tell me, Alan, them Trailer Park Witches was my favorite.
Oh,
And I thought, okay, well that's Chris. Chris and I have very similar, redneck, backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. I can, these are people in our lives.
Right.
I get it. Then you said it. And I was like, what? Okay. Because I just didn't think that was a particular episode that would resonate. But since then, I've had 3 or 4 other people go, my favorite was The Witches.
Well, it's this is my weird sick head, because I see stuff. It's very cinematic in my mind.
Yes.
There are the details, and you set the scenes really well. And it's a good story, and it's well paced, and the side characters, the characters that they're just fodder. They're done,
Yeah.
but they're good. They're fleshed out, and they don't seem like side characters. They just seem like people who live in the town, but you do have a theme in a lot of the stories where people who think that they are so intelligent that they aren't going to be hurt.
Yeah.
And I love it that the guy goes, but I'm smart.
Yeah.
That right there, I like that. I like that it's more, if you're so smart that you're stupid.
Yeah. So I hate people that are arrogant where they
Yes.
think I'm the smartest guy in the room and, therefore I should rule over you. So that
Right.
character was one of those guys. And so I was back some years ago when I was doing stand-up comedy, I was hanging out with this other comedian, and he had, before he got into comedy, he owned a computer IT company, a
Oh,
small
wow. Yeah.
computer IT company. And we'd both started open mic at the same time, and we were working our way up through trying to get, get some notoriety. And so we kind of became friends, but it was odd because he was a screaming, tree hugging liberal, him and his wife, to the point they wouldn't even let their son pee standing up because it was it's male dominance. So we kept him for a weekend. We kept him for a weekend, and we gave him sugar.
Yeah, baby.
Right? We gave him sugar. We wrestled. We played with toy guns, and we made him pee standing up. So, I know that's a little too much information, but this guy just sets the tone. But this guy, he was so arrogant that, because he thought he was the smartest guy in the world. So one night they were all over at our house.
Mm-hmm.
And our kids were about the same age. This time they were both about 8. I don't even know. They might not even been that old. But we were sitting around, we were watching Dirty Jobs.
Okay.
Right? And so this guy, he looks at us and he says, I have my kids watch this show so they know that they have to be smart enough to never have those jobs. And I said, you're missing the point of this whole show. This show is showing this. These are people who have a specialized knowledge that are providing a valuable service for society and making a damn good living at it.
Exactly.
And he said, well, computers rule the world. And I looked at him and I said, what happens when the power goes out?
Yep.
And the look on his face, he was so arrogant that he never put that together. In fact, let me show you how arrogant he was. The name of his company was Ego Enterprises.
Oh my.
He knew he had an ego.
Gee whiz.
So whenever whenever I write characters like that into the show, I always think of that particular moment when he was so arrogant that he didn't understand that if the power went out, you're no longer the smartest guy in the room.
No, you're just in the dark.
Yeah. The smartest guy in the room then is the guy who can get the power back on.
Right.
Exactly.
Right? And the guy who can unclog the toilet, because
That's right.
Nobody wants that.
That's right.
No.
So I appreciate you guys saying that because, that was back when I was really, I was just finding my voice in it. I felt, and I
feel
named
like
it.
that's when you found it, Alan.
Yeah.
That's why I like that story so much, because after that point, there was a direction.
Yeah.
The first few stories are great. Psycho Juju and the Tooth Fairy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they felt like they were disconnected. I think
Mhm.
that them Trailer Park Witches kind of brought everything together. Like, this is where the show's going. That's why I like it.
Well, I appreciate that because
I
that
agree.
makes it ring true because I felt like I was starting to find my voice at that point.
Mhm.
And but even naming it them Trailer Park Witches, I was still cautious enough. I'm going, well, people get them. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
They know I'm not an idiot, and the people who are listening are not idiots, right?
Well,
Honestly, Alan,
rednecks are universal.
until you pointed that out, it never dawned on me that, to me, that was just the title of it. I wasn't even thinking in that direction,
Yeah.
because to me, they're from a trailer park. That's how they're going to talk.
Well, that's it. That's the point. And even I think it's Rory or one of them, Rory or Stevie One says them Trailer Park Witches.
Yeah.
It's them Trailer Park Witches, or one of them says it in the show. So, but good. Well, I appreciate that. But I'll be honest with you. I was shocked that so many people bring up them Trailer Park Witches as the episode.
Well,
Do you
like I said,
consider Do you consider Dolly, them Trailer Park Witches Part 2?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you think about it, it is, because we reference the Brousseau sisters, you know, and all that happens, and even Granny Dingo says something about it, like, you
Yeah.
got a cauldron from, or
Yeah.
or Ivan was like, oh my gosh,
You
I
know,
can't believe it.
that they were the only ones. Everybody else knew you just shouldn't have done that. You know, yeah.
But you know, I'll tell you this too. You know, kind of Chris is the one who came up with this term, and we need to. I loved it when you first said it. I hated it, but then I realized, no, that is literally what I've been trying to do by creating. You know, it's not that I set out to try to create something. I was just trying to tell a story that I liked
Mhm.
based on people that I grew up with. Which, you know, we've
Right.
told that story before if you're listening, and I was just like, I want to write stories that are quirky and fun and different, and they entertain me and hopefully entertain people. And I want it to be so different. You know, I challenge you all the time. I don't even want the people to be named
Right.
normal. We got to do everything different.
Mhm.
Everything has to be unique and out of the box.
Right.
But when you came up with the term redneck gothic,
Redneck Gothic.
I was like, oh no, I don't like it. And then he leaves, and I was going, redneck gothic. I went, well, hell yeah, that's badass. Let's just freaking, and then you drew a logo for it.
Logo for it. Yeah.
You know, he says we've created a new genre of horror called redneck gothic.
I agree.
Well, you know, there is Southern Gothic,
Yeah.
but we go further.
Absolutely.
And you know, and our characters lean into the redneck, or you know, they dive into the redneck pool and swim around the deep end, to be honest with you. But you know, so yeah.
Well, cool.
Now I like them Trailer Park Witches. That's my favorite. And then the one that and I've told you this, the one that freaks me out is Happy.
Yeah.
It's very
Happy's a good one, too.
twisted,
Yeah.
and it's got a good twist.
Yeah.
A twist that I didn't expect. But it's I just, you know, you did it so well, you know, and there's clues as we go.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't
it's
want it to
very
be. I didn't
smart.
want it to be cheap. I hate it when they give you the reveal and you go, "Oh, that's bullshit." But you know, I have to be able to go when you get to that point. You have to be able to go, "Ah."
Yeah.
I
any
did that
of
with
them
was it Last Girl or Final Girl? What's the
Yeah, the
one-
Final
that
Girl.
was good.
Final Girl.
Yeah.
That was me during that. I was like, wait, and then I listened back. I'm like, he told me this.
Yeah, you texted me that day too. You got me on Final Girl, but I was like, but was it cheap? I think I forget the back and forth. But I was like, was it a cheap one? And you went, no, you got me.
No,
No, and
because-
then I like
and
any
I
of
went
them
back
with
and I
Tiberius
listened to it
Poe.
again. I was like, oh no, that was there. I was just
Yeah.
I was probably at work and didn't catch it at first,
Yeah,
you know. And
Yeah.
it was like, oh yeah, that was there. That was good.
yeah, good. You know what the funny thing is? Okay, so every woman in that episode is named after my wife's friends. Because I always say that they're a bunch of witches when they go out and do girls' night. I go, you going out with the witches? And then one night I was like, wait a minute, what if the witches went out
What
and
if they are
went
witches?
camping?
It's awesome.
You know?
It's awesome.
All right, well, I appreciate that, guys.
Yeah,
All right,
man.
this has been fun.
This has
yeah.
been fun.
Like I said, any of them with Tiberius Poe.
Yeah.
I love the detective stories, and they're different. You know, like all the stories, and they're different, and you know, and I again in my head, you know, I can see him traveling through town. I can see
Yeah.
him going here and here and here, and I love stuff like that. So yeah, man,
cool.
it's cool.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, what I love, I'll tell you this, and then we can get off of Nevermore Hollows because it feels awkward. But you know, you guys have been pouring into it. If you'll notice, I've been reaching out. Well, Chris, you know, when he came on board, I said, "All right, Chris, we're gonna, you know, I want you to help me develop characters."
Right.
You know, and then I've been reaching out to you, John, going, "Hey, help me with this character, or help me with this story idea." And
Well, I've been able to write commercials,
yes,
and it is hilarious.
Yeah.
I love it.
I told you the other day, I said, I want you to write the Twang commercial.
Twang.
The Twang commercial. I said, you can put a writing credit now. He's a writer.
Yeah.
He's a writer.
Absolutely.
And now I got to think of redneck astronauts. So I got
Yeah, we need to get look the astronaut. You need to play in the commercial a local Nevermore Hollows astronaut.
Yeah, that started
Yes,
the trailer park. That's why.
that's why it's named that. Look at that. Look what we just came up with.
Oh,
I love it. In the moment.
He started the trailer park. He lived there. He was the original manager, and then he disappeared.
Yeah, I like
in
it.
one of the trailers.
All right. So, but he
and you're
was.
hearing it here first on Dudes from the
All right.
Internet.
We literally
Oh,
just came up
geez.
with that. That I love it. All right. So you look, you get to name him. All right. But remember, outside the box name him, but he was an astronaut. Maybe in the Mercury program. It'd have to be because we remember we
It'd have
worked
to
out
be.
that
One
time
small step for me, one giant step for y'all.
That is so dope. I love it. Oh my gosh.
That's
is
awesome.
so-
And then he
That's
trips and falls.
that is so good. That's why he didn't make it to the Apollo program. Chris,
Oh, that's
brother,
awesome.
that is so good. That is so good.
Okay,
Oh, gosh, I
so
gotta come up with it. It's got to be something like Buzz, but not Buzz. But I mean, it's got to be one of those type nicknames. Oh, now I got to work. Oh, geez. This
so
is cool.
we're coming up on almost 2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah.
Gee whiz.
I think that we need to make sure that we let everybody know that just like tonight we had some technical difficulties. There will be times where our lineup will change.
Yep.
We plan on having guests come in. We have some other podcasters that we believe that are going to be on board for being guest host when Matthew's microphone fails. Or I'm having a bad hair day. You know, it can happen. I know it doesn't happen very often, but
I
every
know
once in a
that,
while,
that
I have
doesn't
a
even
bad
fit
hair
in my
day.
world.
And you know, we'll need
I've had bad
we'll
hair
need
days all
some
the time,
backup
but-
support from some other podcasters.
Yeah.
But I think we all agree that our network has grown enough that we can do something like this and be able to, you know, at a moment's notice, reach out and say, hey,
Oh yeah.
we've got to have somebody that can come in for the night. So
The dudes from the internet
I love it.
network.
That's
Dudes from
right.
the
I
Internet
love it.
Network. I like it. I like it. Well, Alan, Chris,
Yep.
and Matthew in the darkness,
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
this has been fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's been awesome.
How do we want to end this?
Yeah, we're gonna have to come up with like some sort of catchphrase to end it. It feels like it needs one.
Well, everybody that's listening, maybe you can give us some suggestions. What would be a good catchphrase to end every episode of Dudes from the Internet? We'll
Yeah.
we'll get everybody's opinions, and then we'll vote on it live.
I like it.
4 out of 5 surgeons agree.
Right. and we do eventually plan on doing these live on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
that's
that would
something
be
else
awesome
for
if we
everybody
could do
to.
one after the jamboree.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be sweet.
Yeah.
We
and
should
we
do
can
one at the Jamboree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was getting
yeah.
ready to say. Do one at the Jamboree.
Yeah.
And you know, we can and you know, we need to get us a YouTube channel set up,
Right.
right? And do them through YouTube, but we could also just occasionally do it from our current channels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, we're
that's
not going to be able to
awesome.
go live on YouTube for at least 50 subscribers
Yeah.
from Dudes
Yep.
from the Internet.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to do it on our channels because we're all over 500 now.
Yay.
Look at us.
We're internet famous.
Yeah.
I think at last count I was at 642.
I think we hit 540 today.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been a slow roll, man. So let's see.
But Dudes from the Internet's going to blow you up, dude.
I can do anything can be anything